Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to today's edition of Being Heartful Every Day, a joyful adventure. We are on day 142 of week 21, and the quality of the week is selflessness. So, a very warm welcome again. Let's start the program. My name is Prasanna Krishna. I'll be facilitating today's program. Before we start the program, a very gentle reminder that all of us should try to share masterclasses by Daji to our friends and family members who are yet to start Heartfulness so that they can learn about it and start the Heartfulness meditation system. Also, this program, Being Heartful Every Day, is being received very well by a lot of people who have been practicing Heartfulness. So a request to all of you to forward it to practitioners of Heartfulness who have been practicing Heartfulness for some time, forward it to them and request them to join the program. We move on to the reading, inspirational reading we do. Yeah, we just finished the second paragraph. The first paragraph we completed yesterday, but I'll reread it so that the continuity is maintained. The real secret is to die while still alive, transcending I-ness to become universal. Meditation is also the process of consciously transcending the individual self so that we can merge with the universal consciousness. Another way of saying it is live as if you're going to die the next moment. This constant reminder of Yama as death may on the surface sound morbid, but there is a tremendous wisdom in this idea, which is to transcend the I-ness of the ego with love. The ego can be a very restrictive force. It doesn't let life blossom. But when this transcendence happens, the ego becomes our ally and evolutionary in its purpose. The willpower of ego moves from being self-centered in individual consciousness to being in tune with the universal consciousness. Where we go wrong is in thinking that this is all about physical death. Here, death is not the physical body, but our self-created, accumulated identity in the subtle body, the layers of our persona. Transcendence means such refinement of the subtle body that it becomes pure and expansive, without individual heaviness. There are basically two aspects to this refinement. The first is the removal of all the heaviness from the subtle body. The first is the removal of all the heaviness from the subtle body, the impressions we have accumulated over the past, so that it becomes so light that consciousness can soar higher and higher. These impressions are called samskaras in yoga. The process leads to the death of our own individual network of complexities, beliefs, emotions, fears, habits, and desires. Many people try not to let go of the past through psychoanalysis and personal therapy from the mental level. Whereas in Heartfulness, the practice of yogic cleaning removes the very root of the problem, the samskaras, by directly cleaning the subtle bodies. This process is so effective that the impressions from one lifetime can be removed in one meditation session with a trainer. But if we don't also then work on removing the behaviors that are the outer manifestations of those impressions, we end up creating the same awareness again. Like the mice on the wheel, we go round and round, removing, recreating, removing, recreating. It is a never-ending cycle unless we make behavioral and lifestyle changes. The second aspect is the further refinement of our four main functions of the subtle body: consciousness, the thinking mind, intellect, and the ego. With meditation on the heart, the mind deepens from thinking to feeling to simply being, and then finally to unbecoming or unknowing, towards nothingness. It refines towards the subtlest state possible. The intellect deepens to intelligence, to intuition, to wisdom, and also finally to a higher state beyond wisdom, known as unknowing or higher ignorance. Again, it zeroes out. Guidance henceforth will descend from beyond. The ego, from a selfish focus on I, gradually refines to selflessness and generosity of heart, then absolute humility and acceptance, and finally only the finest state of identity remains. All these three subtle bodies are refined. Consciousness is untethered and is able to expand into its infinite state, merging with the universal consciousness. If this could be achieved only through spiritual practice, everyone would reach the destination in no time at all. But does the ego easily move from selfishness to generosity of heart? Not without a fight. Do we easily trust the wisdom of our hearts, happily residing in a state of unknowing, dependent totally on something higher? That would mean ignoring the pros and cons of the rational mind that are dedicated by our own principles and construct. It takes time to let go of all this and let consciousness soar into universality. It's a process that requires Yama and Niyama side by side with practice. Let's stop here and spend a couple of minutes trying to introspect on what we read, where Daji explains about why is Yama necessary. And he talks also about the four components of the subtle body and how each one of them refines by the practice of heartfulness meditation. So let's introspect on this. And at 9 o'clock, let's start the universal prayer. It's 9 p.m. now. Let's start a universal prayer. Let's gently close our eyes. Sit comfortably, gently close our eyes. and try to get into a very prayerful attitude and start a prayer that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. As we have been discussing, these words are extremely potent and go very deep in the meaning. But what is also important is the attitude with which we offer prayer. We should be in a completely sublime state, heart full of prayer, and pray that all brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. हम अपना आंखें बंद करेंगे, आराम से बैठेंगे, आप अपना आंखें बंद करेंगे और एक गहरा प्रार्थना की भाव में डूब जाएंगे और ये प्रार्थना करेंगे कि सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। इन शब्दों तो बहुत बहुत गहरी मतलब है, पर उस उसको हम साथ देना है। अपना जो एटीट्यूड है ना, भाव है ना, वो इतना प्रेयरफुल होना चाहिए कि अपना हृदय में पूरा डूब जाना चाहिए इस प्रेयर में। और ये प्रार्थना करेंगे कि सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। लेट्स कंटिन्यू आवर प्रेयर टिल 9:50 PM. and gently trying to retain the prayerful condition we have gotten into. Let's try to retain that and gently open our eyes. With this, we come to the end of today's session. We'll all depart and meet tomorrow at 6 a.m. A gentle reminder that let's all sit for our bedtime prayer today before we go to bed. So thanks a lot for attending. It was a pleasure to have all of you here. Thanks a lot and good night.